I'm absolutely buzzing in the biggest manc accent I can say. He was meant to be my first guest, so take from that what you will. I'm going to be joined tonight by my personal trainer, Anthony. I don't even know where to begin when I start talking about Ant, to be fair. He's been on this journey with me for a very, very long time, and he's been a massive, him and his gym have been a massive, massive part in my alternative treatments in managing my bipolar. Anthony's been a personal trainer since he was 22, so telling his age, that's 17 years he's been doing that. I hope I'm going to say this right. I caught up with him before. He's an amazing sprinter. He ran 10 seconds for the 100 metres. I hope I've said that right. Obviously, as people know that, you know, have read my book and are following the Speak Out Like Brenda campaign, that know that I do powerlifting, Anthony came fourth in the powerlifting world championships in Miami in 2014. He won the British Championships in 2014, and he also came second in 2015 in the European Championships. He's got a degree in exercise and health and science, a 2-1 with honours, and he continues to add tools to his to what he does. I don't know if people read, whoever is local, that the gym that Anthony built up from absolutely nothing in lockdown got burnt down. And when I say built up from absolutely nothing, I mean he built it up from absolutely nothing, and he put on competitions there. I won my first competition, powerlifting competition there. That place held a lot of really, really good memories for me. Some bad. But he's figured out to work it out, I can see. So I'm going to bring him straight on and we're going to get cracking, and it'll be a belting live this. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's wait for him to come on. Hopefully it works. It's like waiting, I wait for a phone call. There he is.
Here we are.
I was worried. I'm just going to get my headphones actually, Anne, because my
okay.
speakers aren't. I just realised I've not got my headphones.
No, okay.
Bear with me. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just got out of the bath.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Cold or hot?
Hot one tonight.
Oh, hot one. Okay. So I've just briefly introduced everybody about you and about the gym.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people have my book. Self is spoke about quite a lot in the book. So I mean, I think probably, you know, I've obviously introduced what you do. I suppose people probably want to know why I've brought you on, why you're
okay.
I mean, you were supposed to be my first guest.
Yeah.
So like I said to people, you know, take from that what you will. So I mean, I suppose you know, first of all, thank you obviously for joining me.
Anytime.
Bipolar UK.
Anytime, yeah.
You know, on behalf of me and Bipolar UK, thank you very much. I suppose we had a little catch up before, didn't we? Just a little kind of briefing. Yeah. And I mean, you've been a major part of my alternative treatments.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think, you know, obviously you mentioned before that you've not actually trained somebody that had bipolar disorder. I mean, there's a joke in a bit of a banter in the book, isn't there, about how we met, and I felt like you were running away from me.
No, I wish I carried on running.
Should have carried on sprinting, shouldn't you?
Should have. I wasn't fast enough.
High legs.
You know what I mean?
I mean, what's it been like? I mean, it's coming up to 6 years now, Anne. Yeah. What's it been like for you training somebody with my condition? I mean, me and you trained like 3-4 times a week sometimes, didn't we? for a very long time.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you as a trainer?
Um,
And how did you manage it?
so basically, as a personal trainer, you have to treat everyone the same when they first come to you, and then as you get to know that person, you get to know how they work, and when you get to know how they work, then you can start making the personal training personal to that person. You know what I mean? So with you, it took me a while, but I kind of became in tune and in sync with your moods. What would stress you out in the gym? What wouldn't stress you out in the gym? So for the first 2 years, it was really quite difficult, to be honest, because I'd think to myself sometimes, is it me she's got a problem with, or have I done something wrong here? Am I not doing my job right as a personal trainer? You know what I mean? But then I struggled going away from a session thinking to myself, is she going to come back? Have I done my job right? Am I reaching her time?
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I kind of like, I take my job seriously because
I know you do.
I want to, obviously we do our jobs to earn money, we all do that. But it's always been my vocation to be a personal trainer, to help people. I've always wanted to have a gym. I've always wanted to train people. Been actively involved in sport all my life. So when I could finally get to grips with you, but I thought it was getting to grips with myself and adapting my personality to be able to work with yours as well. Sometimes we have clashed.
Oh yeah, we've had that.
You know what I mean? It is what it is.
We've gone head to head a few times, haven't we?
So what I learned to do was I learned to look for signs when you used to walk in the gym, because when you're bipolar, my definition of bipolar is north and south.
Yeah.
Literally, you're either up there or you're down there. So when you're up there, I can tell because you're walking, everything's dead fast, dead sharp, dead moving, and thinking, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? I have to change the session round, which we did. You know what I mean? Not a problem. Or you'd come in and you'd look like you'd slept for 40 years and only just woken up out the ice age like Captain America, just looking absolutely knackered. You know what I mean? Yeah. So again, we'd have to adapt the session to that. So how would I adapt a session to that? So if you was really down there, well, I suppose it applies to both ways really. What we found working with you was lifting weights help ground you. And if you're into all the spirituality side of things, that's fine. If you're not, you can call it placebo effects. That's totally your thing. But I believe in the spirituality side of things where it grounds you. Yeah. It levels you out. Don't know how. There's no science to it. It just does. You know what I mean? If you ask anyone who lifts heavy weights, they feel amazing after it. They get this rush of endorphins and dopamine and all the other hormones that get released in your brain, which are affected by bipolar disorder. Yeah. Or you're down there. So if you come in up there, and if I give you an exercise, or say if I give you a deadlift, say if we put 70 kilo on the bar and it moves well, and I think, oh, that's moving all right. We put 80 kilo on the bar and I thought that was a bit of a grind, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to consolidate that feeling of achieving that lift, and we're going to move on to the next one. Because if I give you a lift while you're up there, or even down there, it's just going to knock your confidence. You're going to walk away from the gym feeling that you've not achieved anything. You're not going to get this release of hormones that we all get when we train in the gym. You're not going to get this feel-good factor. And then the whole purpose of exercise is to make you feel better about yourself. And we've done the opposite thing. So when over the first 2 years, I had to learn that. There's no textbook or course certification that can teach you that. I had to learn on the job of that, because you were the first person that I ever trained with a mental disorder. But maybe you're not the first person to train with a mental disorder, because people are now more aware of it. More people are coming out because of the stigma that's been attached to it. So hopefully now, with obviously the stuff you're doing and other people are doing, it's made it a lot more accessible. You know what I mean? For people to understand that not everyone thinks the same. Everyone's an individual. Everyone deals with things different. You know what I mean? So I'm going on a bit here now. But so for the first few years of training you, I felt like I was back at school again.
Yeah, that's interesting for you to say that, because I mean, I felt in the first few years of you training me, I fell in love with the training, didn't I? Like, I literally absorbed it, and I wanted to get better and better. Because I mean, if anybody that's not read my book, you know, like I trained with, you know, not mentioning any names, trained with somebody that wasn't, you know, all that great, and was teaching me how to deadlift, and he was teaching me how to deadlift wrong, and I really knew I had this thing for deadlifting. I just really liked it. And, you know, I said to him, I went, oh, yeah, mate, can you know, are you the guy that does the deadlifting? Can you teach me?
Yeah, when I was walking into the toilet, I thought, why is this crazy girl following the toilet? I was thinking, wow, leave me alone. What are you doing?
But I remember that first session, and I struggled on 60 kilo when I was training with somebody else. And I knew in that first session, and you got me from 60 kilo, and you got me pulling 80 kilo off the floor quite comfortably. And I thought, oh my God, like with the right form. So yeah, you seem to always been able to adapt my sessions to my mood, but you've always seemed to been able to adapt my diets as well, which has been quite interesting. What did you do to do that? Because I remember you taking stuff out, putting stuff in.
Yeah. So this is quite a complicated one, right? Yeah. So how your body works, how your brain works, it's full of hormones.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get this right now, you release serotonin, you release dopamine. Serotonin and dopamine are the feel-good factor hormones in your brain. All right, okay, yeah. You can also release adrenaline, which is your fight or flight hormone, which gets you up there. But with that, you get the side effects of caffeine, which are jitteriness. Yeah, get my words out. Nervousness.
Have you had a coffee?
No, I've not today, actually. I had one this morning. This is the first thing. So the first thing we did was take coffee out of your diet.
Yeah, we took it out, didn't we? Yeah.
The reason why I took it out is because what caffeine does is it's taken in too large amounts, or even small amounts. Everything's individual. You know what I mean? And again, it's everything I'm talking about is what I've seen with my own experience in front of you. So what caffeine does is a neurotransmitter hormone called, you know, I can't remember the word of it. So that hormone gives you the calming feeling in your brain. Yeah, it's called adenosine. Come to me now, right? Yeah. So when you have the caffeine, it blocks that and releases adrenaline, right? Yeah. So when you release adrenaline, you get that fight or flight, and you can train, and you're up there, you're right up there. So if you've already got bipolar, it can be seen as a hormonal disorder or something that's genetic. If you're up there already and you take caffeine, wow, the come down's going to be even worse. You're up there, but you're up north, you're going to be down even more south. So what we had to do was take that away, so you could, not normally, but how can I put it, approach things a little bit more rationally. Because when you're up there with bipolar, you're more likely to do things like you wouldn't normally do.
Well, we won't go into that.
Well, I think you know what I'm going to say. I think you know what's going to come next, right? Yeah. So that's why we took the caffeine out, because I want to best review in a training session.
And you took red meat out my diet as well.
Yeah, I took red meat out of your diet just for the sheer fact it was not agreeing with you at all. It was, I don't know. It just wasn't agreeing with you. If you believe in the spirituality side of things, of killing red meat, of killing animals for red meat, the energy and stuff like that, then I do believe that was the case with you. You came out in spots. It just didn't suit you.
No, it didn't.
Your mood suffered. But like I say, if that's what you believe in, that's what you believe in. If you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. I'm just speaking about what I saw in front of me. You know what I mean?
And I think what obviously people probably will want to know, that's obviously read the book, is obviously I talk in quite very, very big depth about powerlifting.
Yeah.
When was it that you thought, I want her to compete? Like, there's something in this that I see in her that I want her to compete. My dog might start barking in a minute.
That's fine. Personally, I knew from the first day that we should be trained together. I haven't, because I've been involved in competitive sport all my life.
Of course, yeah.
I know what it takes. I know what you have to do, and I could see that in you straight away. I could see what I thought. It's going to be a tough one, this one, but there's definitely someone there who I can take to a competition. Like, you've seen some of the other people that took to competitions who really suffered with depression. I want to start mentioning names, but
yeah,
to take someone like yourself and all these other people onto a platform in front of over 100 people, in front of some of the best lifters, do you know what I mean? The intimidating factor, the arousal factor you're going to get off that, the adrenaline thing you're going to get off that, the manicness you're going to get off that for yourself, to be able to do that, it's just amazing. But I knew that I could see it from day one. I can just tell. You know what I mean? It's just something you're born with. You know what I mean? That innate ability to be able to see if someone not only got the genetics, but has got the drive to be able to do it. And I knew straight away when I looked at you, well, you want to chase me into the toilets, otherwise, you know what I mean? You wanted something.
I wanted to learn how to deadlift. I think what's interesting is you got me up to a stage very, very quickly. Like, I become strong with you very, very quickly, but mentally as well. I remember you telling me to jump on a small box once, and I went, I'm not jumping on that. Do you remember the little tiny box? And then I think it was, 6-7 months later, I did what was the box jump?
A 60-centimetre box, yeah.
And I'm 4'11", just touching 5 foot.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, the powerlifting. So I mean, we that camp for the first competition was intense, wasn't it? I literally threw myself into it. It was all I talked about. I think people were just fed up of listening to me, but I was consumed by that.
Yeah,
4 times a week I was in, wasn't I? And it was cardio as well. Do you know what I mean? I was probably in the best shape of my life, to be fair.
Yeah, you was. I think at that time of your life, I think that was something you were ready for. I think it was part of the journey that you're on now. You know what I mean? Because it all contributes to the person you are. You know what I mean? It just came at the right time for you.
I think it was very difficult, though, because you pushed me sometimes. I remember, my hands were cut. I remember saying to you once, can I wear gloves? And you was like, no.
Yeah.
And, my hands were cut raw. And I think, I remember dropping to the floor with 80 kilo on my back. And you told me you picked it back up and you put it back. And you went, right, do it again. I went, I can't do it again. And you went, no, you can do it again. And it just become mental with me. It become this mental thing. It didn't become, it wasn't the physical anymore. It started to become a mental thing to me.
Because I think we touched on this before when we were speaking to you on the phone. When in life's very hard and life's very cruel, and it's a really bad place at times for a lot of people.
Of course.
If you've got a mental disorder, then it's 10 times a hell of a lot harder. All right, yeah. So with the weightlifting with you, what it taught you to get back up. It taught you that it's all right to fail, because this is life. And if you fail, like in a deadlift, walk back up to the bar, adjust the bar properly, respect the bar. Get your hands right. I always used to say that to you, didn't I?
Respect the bar. You did, as you used to brush your bar down with your brush.
Yeah, just push it down, say respect the bar. And then we go again. And that's what it's about. But I think that's in a normal everyday person, say for someone like myself who doesn't really have any mental issues, right, yeah, then that I can pretty much cope with that and get on with it straight away. But then it was teaching you, going through failing time and time again, so that it's teaching you a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it did.
And that's kind of what a lot of people who suffer with mental disorders they're not saying they don't have it, they don't know how to create one. No, they haven't got the skills to how to create one, and they haven't got the people around them to positively reinforce these coping strategies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think your support network is massive. You know what I mean? They've got to be able to understand that what you're going through as a person is tough. You know what I mean? And they need to take a step back and let you have your moment, whether it's at the North Pole or if it's at the South Pole. And then when you've got over it, we go again. And that's what we also used to do from training session to training session. You'd come in and go, let's tone it down a bit today. You come in and go, yeah, she's ready today. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So each training session was totally different to the next. Sometimes you get stuff done, sometimes you wouldn't. But the most important thing was even though we didn't get stuff done in some of the training sessions because you'd be venting or ranting or whatever, the most important thing was you turned up.
Yeah,
and that to me was the start of the signs. Whereas before, in the beginning, you might have probably bailed a few sessions, or I'm not coming in. But that to me said, you know what, she's kind of got a coping mechanism, strategy in order, and now she's working with it. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but this is the start. Right, yeah. So when we did the first competition, he did absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? We thought, well, we'll take it to the next stage. So then it was a matter of doing a qualifier and going on to the World Championships. Now, I always believed that you could have made it to the very, very top, and I still believe that now. And at the time, maybe I didn't see it because I was still learning that journey. Was seeing that through to the World Championships. But to me, this is what you're doing now is a lot more important than picking a weight up off the floor. The weight was a byproduct of where you are now, the weightlifting. You know what I mean? So you use that, and you use your lessons from that, you pick yourself up, you use your coping mechanism, and you moved on to the next thing, and you took it to a bigger scale. You know what I mean? Which to me is better than going to the World Championships, because there's nothing better as a personal trainer to see their client develop into someone who's mentally strong, let alone physically. You know what I mean? And one of my mantras is that what is it now? How do I say it? Where the mind goes,
the body will follow. Yeah, you've always said that to me.
I always used to get slated by that. Go, no,
really?
Personal training is all about looking good and this, that, and other. But it's part of it is, but it's not all of it. And that's what I mean. And hopefully now the fitness industry is recognising that. He's recognising that it's becoming a little bit more nicer, not nicer, but a bit more appreciative of that. Not everybody wants to train for a six-pack. People want to come into the gym and sort out their mental health, and I've got a few clients like that as well.
I think that's the biggest thing for me with you. And, you know, it's not a secret, you know, towards the end of the gym, obviously going, that last year for me was pretty difficult to come in the gym. And I think that for me with you and the gym, as what it's been all about for me, is that I think you said to somebody, and I wrote it in my book, I think somebody turned around to you and went, how does she lift what she lifts? Like, she's really little. And I think you said to him, well, she's a different kind of strong. She's become mentally strong.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was, is you gave me that mental strength to go, right, all right, I fell with 80 kilo on my back. He's made me get up and do it again. And also, as much as sometimes I wanted to hit you, because you wouldn't really pity me, you'd push me.
Yeah.
And I'd think, no, but I'm not in a good place right now, you know, but you're pushing me to do this and I'm not in a good place. But you'd push me to do it, and I'd come out and my day would completely change.
Yeah.
It would completely change, and I'd my mood would change. I'd go straight home. I'd eat my breakfast. Do you know what I mean? And it was huge for me. And I think, you know, it was amazing winning that first competition, but nothing I think would compare to the actual training camp running up to it. Yeah. I think I got more out of the camp than what I actually did winning.
Yeah.
And I think I said that to you.
Yeah, because if we go back to like how the brain works and all the rest of it, each training session was improving all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, each session was better and better, wasn't it?
And for someone with bipolar who's got a hormonal imbalance, or whether it be genetic, right? Yeah. you're balancing out your hormones all the time. So every session you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. I need this. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. So by the time we got to after we'd done the first competition where I need to add that you beat a world champion, after we did that, right, yeah, let's get that in there. Yeah. We came to the qualifier and you crumbled a little bit.
You went white, didn't you? Let's just tell people what happened, because you went white.
We was in the warm up area. I think, bear in mind, this is a girl that's deadlifted 120, 125 kilo, potential to do more, a hell of a lot more, right? Yeah. So in the warm up area, and I think we've got 60 or 70 kilo on the bar. And I'm watching, I'm saying, right, let's get tuned in, let's get focused. Actually, don't move off the floor. And bearing in mind, I've opened as 100 kilo, I'm thinking, you know, how can I put it? My bum cheeks clenched like that, and I thought, wow, I have got my work cut out there. So it was a matter of, you, over there.
I know.
And just kind of got into it a little bit, sorted it out, we came out there, and we qualified.
Yeah.
Just. But, again, that's the mental strength there, that's the coping mechanism. A lot of other people would have folded underneath the pressure there and gone, I'm not doing it, my nerves have got the better of me, which is nothing wrong with at all whatsoever. But you was able to overcome that and qualify.
I never forget that. I'll never forget that. And you turned around to me and went, I'm not going to swear because we're on Bipolar UK. And you took me over in a corner and you went, sort your head out. No, sort your head out. Go over there. Think about it. Think about what you're doing. Think about what's ahead of you. And I walked back over and I looked at Luke, and I think there was more on the bar then. I think there was 80 on the bar then. And
Luke looked at me and I looked at him and I'm thinking, yeah, this is really going well. This for me today, isn't it? You know what I mean?
But obviously the powerlifting did a lot for me. And then, as we know in the book, I ended up quite poorly after that first competition. Yeah. I don't know if it was the adrenaline, the pace, the diet. And
this is what I was going to touch on, but yeah, sorry, go on.
We dropped weight for the British, didn't we? We decided to put me in a lower weight category.
Yeah.
And I think I gained a bigger respect for you after that, because you turned around to me, you went, Tasha, I made a mistake with you.
Yeah,
I went, what? And you went, I made a mistake. I went, I don't understand what you mean. Go on, you can obviously say. And this is, but can I just say, this is where I had a huge respect for you anyway, but my respect level went even higher for you. For a trainer to turn around and go, I made a mistake there.
Yeah, I made a massive mistake. I mean, my mistake was that thinking that if you could drop weight and you're lifting what you're lifting now, you're going to be like pretty much hard to beat. You know what I mean? With the competition that was out there at that time, which is why I was so pushing you so much. But I did not take into account, obviously, when you lose weight, you drop your calories, don't you?
Well, I lose weight quite quickly as well, don't I?
So you drop your food. One of the first things you drop is your carbs. You know what I mean? It's just what you do. You drop your carbs, you increase your protein and your fat. Your carbs are involved in these hormones in your brain. So your dopamine, serotonin, the feel-good factor. If you've got bipolar, you've got an imbalance in these. So by me cutting your carbs, what I did was I reduced your hormone levels even more. So by me cutting your carbs out of your diet, I actually made your bipolar worse.
Yeah.
And I learned that. And then from that moment on, you used to say to me, I want to go back in a diet, I want to lose weight. I used to say to you, no, Tasha, we're not going there again. We taught you the coping mechanism of failing. Now we need you to try and teach you how to be happy within yourself and accept you for who you are.
Yeah, you did.
You know what I mean? I think that everybody struggles with at the same time, accepting who you are, you know, as well. You know, I just want to get that in there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it was difficult, because I know you was annoyed at first when I turned around and I said, I'm not going to the British. And I know you were annoyed at first.
Yeah.
And partly, if I'm honest, partly was because, you know, and I can be open about it, because you did an interview in my book, partly was I don't know if I'm going to be able to lift what I need to lift. And I've won a competition. I don't want to, the ego started to come in then, didn't it? And we noticed that. You noticed it because you was watching me and you was going, you never used to watch other people. What you doing?
Yeah, that's the competitive nature in you as well. I think we've all done it to some degree. You know what I mean? But for someone with with bipolar, it's the worst path you can go down, and that's where powerlifting became destructive to you physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And then, which kind of leads us on to the second competition that we did after your issues with your back and all the rest of it and that. But sport, what powerlifting is, very, very demanding sport. It's very intense. There's a lot of pressure riding on one lift.
Yeah.
You know, it's all very well saying, oh yeah, it's only a lift, but when you're caught in that bubble and you want that constant hit of dopamine, right? Yeah, which is why this first training camp went so well, and then you're not getting it. It's kind of like, oh, it's making me feel a bit down. It's making me feel a bit finger. So what you tend to see then is, instead of being up there, you start going to the depressive side of the bipolar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's when you start to walk into the gym looking like you slept like Captain America for 40 plus years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming out of the ice age. And that's kind of, those are the signs you get to see with someone who suffers with bipolar, because I also had to research around you.
You did, yeah.
To see how I could deal with you as well with what was in front of me.
No.
You know what I mean?
And I think, the thing is what I've got a massive respect for you for is you've always adapted to every stage of where I've been at, which I think for anybody is very difficult. Because sometimes I think I probably have been so draining to you. You can be honest. I don't mind.
Put it this way: you walked out of the room, I want to get my head down for an hour. You know what I mean? I just wanted to go to sleep. I'm not even wanting to train. I go home at night and I think to myself, wow, she has absolutely terrorised me tonight.
I think I remember one of the last sessions we had before lockdown, and I come in and I was going a million miles an hour, and I think it was probably more than I'd lifted in a long time. And the music come on and it was going doof, 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 doof. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Tasha. I bet that's what your head feels like right now.
Oh yeah, it's.
But then going back to obviously the powerlifting, I don't think I could ever take that out of my training. No, but you then made that decision where you turned around and went, enough's enough now. It's funny, actually, we posted a video before on Bipolar Brenda of that 122.5 kilo lift that won me the first comp. And I stood there like that and my head was spinning. And you can actually hear you go, no more now. Because I had one more lift left, didn't I? That was only my second lift. And you went, no more now, no more. Because my head had like I think my body had literally took, hadn't it, all what it could take. But I mean, credit to you where credit's due. Like, obviously, as people know who's read the book, I ended up with a really bad disc injury, which was nothing to do with the powerlifting. It was to do with an injury from an accident outside the gym. And we was told that I wouldn't lift for 12 months, you said to me, because you spoke to Zahir and he said to you she's not going to lift again for a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And you then completely changed my training around again, and had me step back up on the platform, 3-4 months later, and PB'd in a squat.
Yeah.
From somebody that literally I couldn't barely walk 4 months prior.
So again, with the art of personal training, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Not every method.
You've 9-lived me then.
Yeah, not every method's conventional. Not every method is what you see in a book. It's what is personal training is always. It's a changing process. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with a client. You have everything planned for them. So what we had to do was we had to fill me form.
But you changed my
Yeah.
form completely because I was sumo.
Yeah. Yeah, we completely changed your form. Yeah, so sumo, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so we give you a
Because I was
wider
sumo and you put me to conventional, and I was like,
yeah.
I struggled really bad with conventional. And the
Yeah,
time you put in, like you had, I remember you tying things around my feet.
yeah, the bands and that. So what the bands were there for is so you could actually push against the band, so it would stop your knees from caving in, so you could keep your form a lot better. But also you're getting like extra work for your glutes and what have you as well.
And
What I mean?
you got me to that second competition, and the deadlift, it was unfortunate. It was probably like, it's the most I've lifted, but it was hitched, whatever you call it.
Yeah, you
But
cheated. Yeah, hitching's cheating. Let's just get
right,
that
all right. Be a world champion, my first one. And the squat, though, I think has always been. I mean, if we have a kind of a discussion about a squat, you've always thought of me of quite a good squatter, but I've
Yeah,
always been terrified of it, haven't I?
yeah,
Which is,
yeah,
I think, it's really interesting. The squat
yeah.
is because I've always done really well with, in your eyes, squatting, but it terrifies the life out of me still.
Yeah, because for someone like yourself, you've got no control over it. You can't see what's going on unless you're in front of the mirror. So you don't know you don't know what's going to happen next. So again, it's teaching you how to be able to control those emotions in your head while you're going down with the bar. Teaching you, are your hands right? Are your feet right? Is your head position right? Have you took the right breath in?
Yeah.
Are you squeezing the bar? Are you pulling the bar on the way down? Are you pulling the bar down on the way up? You know what I mean? To create that.
And this is the thing. This is why I think it's been such a massive part of my journey of keeping me well. And I say this in my book. It's a bit. Sometimes I say it's a bit dramatic when I've done interviews and stuff. I've gone. It kept me alive.
Yeah.
Because some days I went in there and the thoughts that were going on in my head. But when you've got 90 kilos across your back, you're all you're thinking about is that your shoulder blades are down. Yeah.
Yeah.
You and you're driving your knees up. So all you're thinking about is not dying with a bar.
Yeah.
Basically. Someone's just asked a question. Did
Well,
you find it hard to stay motivated?
what
I
me
think
or
that's
you?
probably to you, to be fair. Did you find it
No,
hard to stay motivated with me?
never once, because I'm from a sporting background. I've been involved in sport all my life. I love my job. I'm enthusiastic about my job. Motivation is never not an issue. When I lost my mum, I was on the athletics track the next day training. Maybe not in a competitive, but I was there. When you failed with a bar on your back, pick it back up, go again, take 2-3 minutes rest, we keep going. You know what I mean? We reduce the weight if we need to. You know what I mean? Motivation is never an issue, because there's people out there now who are taking a last breath of we need to make the most of the opportunities we have now while we're alive. And then for people to look back on and say, yeah, Tasha, she struggled with bipolar, but you know what she did? She did something positive with it. She made it acceptable to the masses. She wrote a book. She gave an insight to her life. You may not have detailed those coping mechanisms down, but you're giving insight into it. And then you've got people reaching out to you left, right, and centre all over the country. And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So motivation is never an issue. I always believe you've got to help people around you as best as you can. If you can't, you can't. But motivation is never, you just don't stop. You keep going.
I don't think I've ever, in the 6 years of training with you, and I mean, I used to train, 2-3 years, it was 4 times a week, wasn't it? And I was in the gym some days twice a day, wasn't I? I don't think I've ever had a session with you where you've not give 150%.
Yeah.
Even when I've been really like, I remember once coming in when I started with that physical anxiety, and I remember literally having an anxiety attack, and Paul was there. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I was like, and he was like, you can breathe, and he got me breathing again, and then got me squatting. Like, how's he managed to do?
Is that the day when you threw up as well?
Yeah. Well, I used to throw. Was that the day that you gave me the off cookies and rice?
I think it might have been, you know.
You give me off cookies and rice. I used to come out of that gym and sit. I think that's what was so difficult when I found out it had been burnt down, because I used to sit outside for about an hour afterwards, and be like, "Oh my God, what's just gone on?" But I've seen what you've done. I've seen what you did with other people, like, and when you went to the Worlds, because I come and watch you, obviously, take people to the Worlds, and was it every single one of them become a world champion you took?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to sort my tripod out, one sec.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Is that the same tripod that you used to have at the Hurt Locker?
No, this is a new one, but one of my kids has knackered it up.
Oh.
You know what I mean? 1 second.
No, you're all right.
I had I think it's 10 people I had to control. You know what I mean?
So you're probably lucky that you didn't have me as well, to be fair.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that was 8 to 10 people became world champions. Unbelievable. And these are the people who've been in similar boats to yourself, who suffer with depression, who suffer with anxiety. You're the only one who were trained with bipolar. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of them, like what I said before, just scared to step out the front door. You know what I mean? So.
And what was the reason? When did you decide? Do you think where you thought enough's enough now for Tasha?
Right. So we did that second competition in the gym. Yeah, I think, was it 2018? Was it? Or was it 2019?
2018, November 2018.
Yeah. Second competition. Powerlifting became destructive to you. You was chasing the numbers. You weren't getting the numbers.
I weren't in good shape. My back wasn't great either, was it?
Yeah, you weren't. Yeah, because we'll come to that in a sec. You weren't getting the numbers, and so that when it was what I previously spoke about earlier on in this interview, it sent you the opposite way. It was sending you up north, but controllable. But then it was sending you into a depressive sort of state, and exercise is not meant to do that. That's when it was time to come out with it. We got you back on the platform. You PB'd in your squat. Your bench went all right. Your deadlift you hitched, which we've said. But then you proved it. What you proved was that you don't always. You picked yourself back up, and it wasn't about winning. It was about winning in your head, knowing that you still had it in you to be able to step in front of that platform, in front of all those people, and give it your best. You know what I mean? And then sport teaches you a lot of things about yourself.
Yeah, it does.
The first competition taught you that you've got the potential. The second competition, not the qualifier, taught you that you can fall down, but you can always get back up. And then when you get back up, you carry on. You don't have to hold on to the time you fell up. You fell. You know what I mean? And just then, it's just that we just knew it's time to call it a day. It's destructive to you. You wasn't eating well. You wasn't sleeping. You was in that vicious cycle. The hormones in your head were all over the shop. And why as a PT do I want to add to that if what I'm doing with my client is making him worse?
Just had a question come in. How did you push yourself through after injury? I always got to a point in training then needed an operation or something else and found it hard to start again from the bottom to build up fitness. I'll let you answer that, Ant, because I mean you and Zahir brought me back from that back injury. I mean, what was your strategy that because you changed everything. I mean, you spoke with Zahir, didn't you? You kind of worked together.
The first thing is to get you moving again, is to start making you enjoy exercise again. So you do what you can, when you can.
Well, I had to start walking in water, didn't I? Which I've never done before.
Yeah. Zahir mentioned that to you, and you cracked on with that down at the village. Was it the Village Leisure Club?
I did indeed, yeah, because the other one didn't appeal to me.
Yeah, and then what was that again?
Parade.
Yeah. And then in the gym, it was just getting you back to doing normal everyday movements, to be fair. You know what I mean? Because
you started working on my core a lot more, didn't you?
Say again, sorry. Yeah, we had to.
Yeah, cool.
We had to teach you how to brace. You know what I mean? Because in a lot of sports, it's bracing. You know what I mean? Powerlifting, running. How do you brace your hips? I mean, how do you brace your core when you're lifting? You squeeze everything, you pull it inside. So if you can't brace, you can't apply pressure, which is why I would never let you wear the belt on light weights, because they always wanted to teach you how to brace. You know what I mean? And it's a matter of having the right people around you, to be honest, because you'll get a lot of people who'll just say, yeah, do this, do that, do this, do that. You know what I mean?
Because I was very nervous, wasn't I, after with my back?
Yeah, so with someone with bipolar who's nervous is pretty hard to work with. So what you have to do then is you have to like make the exercises a lot easier, just gradually get them moving again.
And what do you think when I come back training, what strategy do you think you're going to take with me when I come back?
Well, it all depends on how you walk through them doors, to be honest, and what mood you're in. You know what I mean?
Don't make me I wanted to learn to do dips before we went into lockdown. That was my aim, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a few things started to get laid out again, because you kind of started becoming back to normal. Things, you started to integrate how you are as a person into everyday life, if that makes sense, being accepting who you are and what you're dealing with. And that was where we started to get to. I think the book and everything you're doing now has helped that, to be honest.
I don't think I would be where I am now, though, if I wouldn't have gone on that journey with the powerlifting.
Oh yeah, it's like what I said to you. It's every little destination you stop off has a point to prove to before you get to where you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's the same with relationships. It's the same with jobs. You know what I mean? I worked at Fitness First for 8 years. I worked at Morton Mill for 8 years, and I mean, I've got a new gym in Chadderton now. You know what I mean? So each point of stopping off teaches you something new about yourself, and you take those lessons and you bring them forwards with you. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? This is what life's about.
Well, I think that's what's interesting about you, you know, Anne, is because, you know, people go, oh, I don't know, you got back up on a platform to me. I don't know, you lifted what you lifted. But, you know, I seen you build that gym up from nothing. I walked in there when there was no walls. It was just, you know, and you built it up into a massive, beautiful place. And then it got burnt down to the ground. Yeah. And straight away, within 24 hours of being burnt down to the ground, you was moving forward. And, you know, you've got this new gym now. And I think that's why people train with you, because you have got so much fight in you and you don't give up. So you make your clients, you think, God, like, he's tenacious in what he does. Like, he doesn't give up. You know, you'd finish training a client and then you'd start training. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a lot to thank for that from my mother, because even from a young age, she just taught me to keep going. And if it wasn't for her and the stuff I'd learned off her, then I wouldn't be the person I am today, because I grew up in a house full of women. It was hard, don't get me wrong, but I could go into my life and what I've been through and all the rest of it, but all I'm going to do is big up my mum, because if it wasn't for my mum, I wouldn't have those opportunities that I have today. You know what I mean? It's because one of the things that mum always taught me, even in her death, was to do the right thing, no matter what it is. And that's kind of something that I kind of stand by now, you know what I mean?
And I think that shows in your work, do you know what I mean? And the fact that, you know, a lot of people, as you know, and, you know, you know me very, very well, like, you know, 3-4 sessions a week, you know, you've never ever give up on me, ever.
You can't, though, because, you know what I mean? It's like everyone wants to post on social media, be kind and do this and do that, yeah. But instead of posting about it, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you help the person next to you? Don't turn around and look at them and just like leave them to it. You know what I mean? It's like I've really like kind of gone away from social media, to be honest, because of apps
Yeah, you
like
had to
this.
download the app tonight, didn't you, to do this?
You know what I mean? Because you have to help people out. What's the point? You know what I mean? What is the point? Oh yeah, let's, I don't know, whatever.
You've not just done it for me though, you've done it for everyone, and I think I said that in my book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've
because I like
watched
to
you
help
I've
people.
watched you transform people, not just mentally. You know, I've watched people come in there and within 3 or 4 months lose 4 or 5 stone. I've watched
Yeah,
people that have trained with people for 2, 3 years and not getting the body shape that they should be in. They've come and
yeah,
trained with you for 2 months and you sculpt the body. And I kept saying that, you know, to one of my friends. I was like, you need to go and train with him. You know what I'm talking about. Go and train with him. Go and train with him. Because
yeah,
I promise you now, he just knows how to train people for the body type, for what do you know what I mean? And I just think is you're not just a personal trainer that's, you know, counting to 10. Like, you are very good at counting to 10.
I'm not.
But you understand people, and I think that's a quality that not a lot of trainers do have. And I think for me, that's why, you know, let's be honest, I was in 2 minds whether to stay at the gym because of personal reasons that went on. But
Yeah,
I said today when I spoke to you with Anna, I said I couldn't leave him because I
yeah,
wouldn't trust another trainer the way that I trust him. And with the condition that I've got, I know I'm always in safe hands. I know when I
yeah,
turn around to you, Anthony, should I put my belt on or should I not? I know that you will be like, no, you don't
yeah,
need your belt, you'll be fine. Or, yeah, put your belt on. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And I think to have that sort of trust, especially speaking from my experience of somebody that, you know, as we know, I've trust issues with men and overthinks, you know,
yeah,
everything out of everything. To be able to go into a gym and you say to me, I know that you can, well, you used to play tricks on me, to be fair, because you tell me that there was a lower weight on the bar and it was a higher
yeah.
weight. That was very clever,
Yeah.
that,
I
actually.
do think most personal trainers do that, to be honest.
That was very clever, that, though, to be fair. But yeah, my point is I think what I'm very grateful for is that, yeah, right, you've had me in the best shape of my life. Like, I'm not in a good shape at the minute. Like, I'm skinny fat. You know, my skinny fat that I
But
go through. But
yeah, but this,
mentally, you've
yeah,
always, you made me mentally strong, and I didn't have that when I walked in there.
yeah.
I didn't.
See, this is the thing with today's society and the likes of social media and all the rest of it. It makes you think that you have to conform to a certain way, and you are who you are, and being able to accept who you are, to me, is better than any weight lifted off the floor, any time being run on the track, any sort of physique like you see. I know, like, it's all part. These are all parts of fitness. You know what I mean? Aesthetics, performance. And now what we're starting to see now as a new trend towards is like getting to people with mental health issues to exercise. And I know, like what I said before, where you can't teach it in a book. You learn it on the job. I do think that and hopefully there will be. That there will be courses and certifications for personal trainers to give themselves an insight into the clients, because what you find with the personal training industry is it's very self-centered. You know what I mean? With personal training these days, it's not about the client, it's about the personal trainer, which is wrong. Personal training is about the person, like the training, you know what I mean?
What did you have above the door about the personal best?
Do you know what? I can't remember. I can't even got any pictures of
If
it.
you care more about your personal best than your client's personal best, then you're not doing your job right or something, wasn't
Exactly,
it?
yeah. And I need to give a shout out for that, because I actually got that off Ultimate Performance UP, Nick Mitchell. So a massive shout out to him, because I seen that, I thought, I'm going to have that in the gym. I messaged him on Facebook saying I really love that, I'm going to use it in my gym. He didn't reply back to me, but I just, you know what I mean? I wanted to give a shout out for that, because that to me is what personal training is all about.
You've used it. So, I mean, we're going to wrap up shortly, but I mean, you know, for me, you know, I'm beyond grateful for putting up with me for 6 years.
Yeah,
You know, for introducing me to powerlifting, for teaching me life lessons, for making me a lot mentally strong. And you know, I think you're a job's worth sometimes, because you push me beyond my limits, especially when you put me on a bike and a treadmill.
Yeah.
It's not for me. But I mean,
I haven't
what's
got a bike
next?
or a treadmill at the moment. That went up in flames, didn't it? You know what I mean?
I was just about to say that. What's
You know what I mean?
next for? Are you still going under the brand of the Hurt Locker?
Yeah, it's still the Hurt. It's
Of course, yeah.
the one thing I wanted to do this time as well.
I thought so.
When I was in Fitness First as a personal trainer, I was 22 years old. I was just having a laugh. You know what I mean? I moved into TaylorMade Fitness when Fitness First shut down. I've got to thank you to Mike Taylor for giving me the opportunity to restart again. You know what I mean? In TaylorMade Fitness in 2012, and he was there with me, helped me out when my mum was ill and all the rest of it and that. And now we're in this new gym, and it's kind of like when I built the wall in Mike's gym, it was off me, man. But now it sounds a bit weird, but with the gym burning down, it's kind of like let that association go with the gym with my mum. And now I'm building this new gym, and I'm doing it not for me, because there's other personal trainers in the gym who lost their jobs, which is one of my main motivations to get back up and running as soon as, but to kind of like show that I'm progressing and moving forwards, and I'm not living in the past and moving forwards and taking my family forwards and taking many people as I can forwards with me, because people have done that with me, and you've got to pay it back.
Yeah, and you do. Do you know what I mean? You do, and you that's I think one thing you taught me, and I think it's been a lesson you tried to teach me for years, wasn't it? Is let go of those bad people, places, and things around you. And I think you said it in the interview in my book, didn't you? Once she lets go of those bad habits, she will a potential will start to come through.
Well, that's it, innit? It was a matter of letting the pit bull out the cage.
Yeah. A pit bull, that's what you used to say to me, didn't you? I'm going to let you off your lead soon.
Let you off your lead, yeah, you know what I mean?
Such a lovely way of putting things to me, didn't you?
It's just what came to my mind at the time. I think growling at the bar or doing something like
that. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me.
No, anytime.
Honestly, it means the world for me, obviously, for you to come on, because that gym and yourself has been a massive part of keeping me well. And, that place has picked me up when I've been at rock bottom. Do you know what I mean? And for me, the Hurt Locker is so much more than a gym, and lifting is so much more than lifting. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I said this, I think I put, when I was on social media, I put a thing on Facebook saying that the Hurt Locker is not a place. It's you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
You know
Before we wrap up, for people obviously in and around Manchester that are going to be looking for a gym once lockdown's over and personal training,
there we go,
who's available, and who is it? Are you open to taking on new clients? Is Luke? Is Hannah?
Yeah, so I've got 3 other personal trainers in the gym. Luke Foden, Hannah Anderson, and Jordan Stringer. 3 possibly the best PTs I've worked alongside. You know what I mean? I've worked along quite a few, being in the game for 17 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah,
so they can find them on Instagram, can't they?
They can find them on Instagram
and Facebook.
Yeah, and Facebook and that, yeah.
Yeah. And your job's worth?
Can I just say one thing?
Go on, you've got 13 seconds.
I just need to big up my mum again.
Oh, well, you know what? Yeah. She'll be so proud of you. And I said that to you the other day. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll